I realized I had two choices. Either fully commit to Veronica and keep going down a really tough path, or just cut ties. The truth is, Veronica isn't going to change, and this isn't going anywhere. She's always going to think she's right. At that point, I knew we needed to leave, head back to Bouquet, and I think we were done. I remember how it all started. We met at church. She was just a casual friend at first, but one day, it was like a switch flipped. I heard the Lord speak clearly to me. Barry's going to be your husband. It wasn't subtle. It was like an actual voice. Not long after, the phone rang, and Barry said, "Hi Kim, this is Barry. I'm calling to talk to you about our future and my intentions." And let me tell you, that's marriage talk. No beating around the bush. 3 months later, we were married. Barry became the head of our family, and for 22 years, things have mostly been smooth sailing. Thank you for calling Giorgio, this is Kim. How can I help you? I work part-time, a few nights a week as a hostess. Honestly, I enjoy it. And the best part is seeing my daughters, Lydia and Mariah, there too. At least once during a shift I get to see them, and that's priceless. We even make a point of keeping everything polished and welcoming, which feels good. But getting back into the workforce has been an adjustment. I haven't had a real job since college. Most of my work was building and managing properties, and that's still part of my life. But the divorce complicates everything. I don't know where it will end up. If I lose the properties, I can't live on hostessing income alone. The hardest part, realizing I'm in my 50s with no real retirement plan and not much saved beyond this. I've always handled money carefully, but Barry, he's exceptional with it. I spent 25 years supporting his career while raising our kids. Now, I'm in charge of everything financially, and it's a big shift. Hi, welcome in. What can I do for you? A table for two, please. There's been tension along the way. Transitioning from Barry handling all the money to me taking over was not easy. There have been disagreements, especially because I'm feeling the strain financially. And I've made mistakes. Early in the separation, I had one night that went wrong. I ended up with a DUI. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and I was okay. It was a hard lesson, one I'll never repeat. But it came with court fees, lawyer fees, months without driving, mandatory testing, community service. It was a lot. Really hard. That year was really tough for me. Everything was just starting to feel like my new life was taking shape. And then everything hit a wall. The DUI, the legal stuff, the stress, it all made it so much harder to find my footing. At work, I just focus on the basics. Don't overthink the rotation chart. Just seat the people at a table, tell the server, and keep going. But here's the thing that stung the most. Barry never once came to me and said, "Hey, I see you're struggling. Are you okay, Kim? Do you want to talk?" After 25 years together and 10 kids, I thought at least that much care would be there. I wanted us to stay friends because I genuinely valued him as a person. But that conversation, it never happened. And that hurt. Okay, sounds good. Are you celebrating anything special tonight? Even as I moved forward in life, there were new beginnings on the horizon. I remember talking with Zach. Someone asked, "What was your first kiss like?" And I had to laugh. It hasn't happened yet. We've both committed to saving that first kiss for the wedding day, if that day comes. I decided early on that I didn't want a kiss to get in the way of truly getting to know someone. I brought it up with her, and she said, "I've always wanted that. I think it would be so sweet. I love being here, climbing trees with you, spending time together." There are moments when temptation can creep in, but we both believe that self-control is a way to honor the Lord together. And honestly, holding back hasn't made things less fun. It's made our time together more meaningful. Dancing around, skipping, laughing, climbing trees, those little moments feel closer, richer, and more memorable than a kiss could be right now. So yes, we're both eagerly looking forward to that first kiss, just not yet. We've talked about it. We're dating to marry, not just to chase fleeting desires. Intentionality matters. And then came the big step. I wanted to have the conversation with her dad to ask for her hand in marriage. Zach asked, "Hope you're on board with this?" And I said, "I am." The ceremony was beautiful. "Lydia, do you take Zach to be your lawfully wedded husband in holy matrimony, before God and these witnesses?" "I do." And then the moment came. "You may kiss the bride." And wow, the first kiss was everything. Lydia was so ready I barely had time to pull her in. It was perfect. I don't know if I could really describe it. It was a great kiss, don't get me wrong, but she was there, on my lips, and I just couldn't fully process it. It was overwhelming. Still, it was funny and sweet at the same time. Lydia and Zach's first kiss? Totally romantic. Honestly, I had to ask someone else about it because I wasn't watching closely. I may have been distracted, monitoring the ground for ants or insects. Old habits die hard. But I thought, go for it. Let's see what happens. And yes, it was perfectly innocent. No surprises there. When it came time for the ceremony, the words were spoken. I pronounce you husband and wife. I'd like you to face everyone because now, instead of two, you're one. And there they were, Mr. and Mrs. Zach Wise, sharing their first magical moment as a married couple. Fast forward a little. If I had to pick something fun in that moment, it would be the rings. How did I know? Well, I like shiny things. What can I say? She loves shopping. I love shiny cars. Tomato, tomato. Somehow that shared taste and sparkle brought us together. Walking into the jewelry store was like stepping into a treasure trove. $35,000 for that one? I joked. But really, it was just curiosity. We measured fingers, checked sizes, mine, hers, the whole process. Veronica Micah said, "Look at the rings. What does that mean to you?" And honestly, it meant something. I hadn't fully processed it yet. We were just hanging out, trying sizes, enjoying the moment. My size? 7.5 to 8. Perfect. We started talking seriously about engagement rings, joking about random weddings and spur-of-the-moment decisions. But I'm type A. Plan everything. She's type B. Go with the flow. That dynamic? It keeps things interesting. We tried different cuts, emerald versus radiant, and I think emerald won. We even put them together on the same finger, just to see, just to enjoy the experience. And I snapped a picture, of course. Memories like this deserve to be captured. So, you know what you like. Since I moved in with Veronica, it's been clear, at least in both our minds, even if we never said it out loud, that marriage is on the table. But to be honest, I'm not quite ready to put a ring on it. It's a huge commitment, and sometimes I catch myself thinking, am I really at this stage of life yet? But then again, who's ever 100% ready for anything? Curious about rings? These ones are sustainable, diamond-coated gems. The average price? Under $500. And in true playful fashion, I said, how about I buy this as a cocktail ring for now? A small step, but a step in the right direction. Congratulations on thinking about it, someone teased. And honestly, that's what it felt like. Just thinking about thinking. That's where we were. Young, cautious, but hopeful. I'm only 23 in spirit. Okay, maybe a little older. But it felt right to celebrate with champagne, even if the engagement itself wasn't happening just yet. If he asked you to marry him today, would you say yes? Yeah. The excitement was real, even in the uncertainty. But life doesn't stay in a jewelry store bubble, does it? Back in the real world, drama can hit hard. Veronica, well, she didn't exactly make things easy. The tension with family was heavy. All the hurt feelings, the clashes, the history. It came to a point where I had to face reality. Either I strictly chose her over my family and trudged down a very difficult road, or I cut ties completely. Veronica wasn't going to change, and it wasn't going anywhere. She was always going to be right in her mind. At that moment, I knew we had to leave, go back to Bouquet. We were done. I told her, I'll come down and help you pack. When I explained that it was over, she didn't really respond much. It made me wonder, did she want this breakup? Maybe. Maybe she did. Maybe I had lit a match on a fragile bridge, throwing it into flames, and then acted surprised that we couldn't cross it. But I've always been more of a science experiment person than someone tearing down bridges just to watch them burn. Veronica, you probably won't see it, because it's beyond your understanding, but you missed out on a good family. A life with people who loved and cared for each other, and who would have stood together. That was real, and you let it slip through your fingers. You did. Yeah. Amen. Honestly though, that look on your face says it all. That's the truth right there. Nice knowing you, Veronica. She was too shy to respond, but I had to say it. I deserve more than being cheated on. I deserve more than being lied about. And yes, maybe when they went low, I sank lower too. but not by my own doing. I was 100% on your side until that morning when I found out you were calling me names behind my back. After that, I just couldn't do it. I realized I can't let people in if I don't trust them. And that's why relationships falter. Then you'll never have relationships. That's exactly why your relationship with this family failed. It wasn't that we didn't let you in. It was that you didn't let us in. I opened myself to you, to the family, but you were backstabbing, calling names behind our backs. I'm sorry for hurting you. I appreciated the words. But honestly, I don't know if I believe them. Maybe they're genuine, maybe they're not. Either way, I've seen and heard enough to know I don't want anything further to do with you. Maybe I did sabotage things at the end. Maybe I was just exhausted, tired of a messy, toxic relationship and a family I couldn't connect with. If adding a little catalyst sped up the inevitable, so be it. At that moment, it felt like chemistry class, mixing fragile chemicals, knowing it might explode any second. Does Micah know we talked at all? No. I knew this conversation could go badly, and it did. I realized I couldn't stay with someone who could treat me like that. I couldn't accept behavior like looking at your brother's girlfriend's private photos or spreading rumors. I had been delaying something that needed to happen long ago. My claws were out because I had to protect myself. If I could wish for one thing, I'd wish this had happened sooner. I'd been scared of being alone, thinking it was the worst thing. But the truth? The worst thing is being in a toxic relationship where you lose love for yourself. I want people to know I did love him, but I also had to experiment to see what worked and what didn't. Micah and I were like two beautiful chemicals, but toxic together, and the catalyst was the family. I never thought it would come to this, but in the end, maybe it's on me too. So what do you want to do about getting our stuff? Are you riding with me? Dragging things out would only make it harder. Maybe I should fly back and ship your stuff, or help logistically with the boat. I agreed to drive her back, to make the practical side easier. Even after a breakup, my first instinct was to help. That's just who I am. I wasn't sure if we should ride back in the same car. If we did, at least one of us should have someone else with us, someone neutral. Honestly, I was thinking, I wouldn't go down there with her alone, because you know how manipulative she can be. After some thought, I realized that 7 hours in a car together right now, that would probably be a disaster. So I made the call. I left Veronica with the producers, fully confident that they would escort her safely back to her home. Come on, Isaac. Ethan and Isaac agreed to come with me to retrieve all my things. It wasn't easy. It took a lot of courage and patience, but I did it. And I was proud of myself for taking that step. I'm proud of you, Micah. Yeah, it really did take a lot.